What's up, everyone? It's your boy King. I'm joined with my man Tim Azim. Tim Marino. All he do is Quinn, no matter what. And we will be going over and breaking down the 12.17 patch notes, which is the penultimate patch before Worlds. So basically, next patch will be the Worlds patch. I will make a video after this one discussing why this black box of patches is so weird and so detrimental to the Worlds format, but it does make for interesting content. All right, so going down, Tim, you guys,
black box?
huh?
Why is it a black box?
We'll be discussing that in the next video. All right. All right.
Yo, don't call me out. Don't call me out on your recording, bro. I don't like this.
All right. So off the bat, we got Ahri. We see her charm duration is decreased early. So basically, all they're doing is they're making like early charms not so painful. Because Ahri is a staple right now in pro play, and she's been ever since her rework. She's been the most balanced champion in the mid lane. I would say. Like she's not. At one point she was broken, but that's when they first did the rework. But since they've nerfed her a little bit over time, now I'd say she's probably in the most balanced. Like she has an escape. She has 3 flashes on her ultimate. She has a charm, which is now coded to stop movement. So if you're like dashing towards her and she hits you with the charm, it's just like Veigar box or Jinx trap. You just stop in place.
Yep.
So that's pretty. I would say this is not the nerf she needs, but if you're not trying to take away too much of her damage, then it's probably the only nerf you could make. I would just probably do something about her W damage, but then you most likely mess up. I mean, her wave clear should be good on her Q, right?
Yeah, I mean it's okay. I mean the I don't think she needs a nerf at all. Really, she's like you said, she's balanced, but she doesn't have any bad matchups. Like you can pick her blind every single time and do well.
Well, this is where it's going to be tricky kind of going through the patch notes is because a lot of these, so from 16, 17, and 18 are all really geared towards professional play. Like there will be some changes for us players like on the general servers, but this is really geared towards Worlds and trying to make sure that the meta is tightened up and not too dramatic of a change or a shift. But that, again, we'll talk about that black box theory.
Right. It's 1.4 to 1.2.
Oh yeah.
1.55
Well, the way I think it's because of how leagues so the closer you get to 0.5, so a 1.4 I think rounds up to a 1.5 second stun, even though they write it as such. It's something with the coding. So the first two are actually like huge nerfs to the charm because instead of actually locking somebody out for like a second and a half, it's going to be closer to that 1 second stun. And then the second one is going to be closer to what level 1 was. You feel me? And then like 2, 3, and 4 are pretty much the same. Nothing crazy, and 5 is exactly the same. So it's just one of those things where you're gonna feel the difference. Like as if you're an Ahri one trick, if you're an Ahri main, you'll feel the difference in the
right.
All right, going on to Azir. WAP scaling decrease, cooldowns increase early on E. WAP scaling decrease, cooldown increase early. E cooldown increase. Okay, so basically all they're doing is nerfing Azir because again, he's picker man in pro play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've been telling you to play Azir at least the last 3 months. Just because he's been so strong, and you're like, aim frontline, aim team. Now, why do you think as an Azir player, what makes Azir viable or unviable?
I mean, like for the elo that we're like nowhere near the pros. So like to be efficient on it, there's only certain like windows. Like let's say you want to do a Shurima shuffle. Like you can Shurima shuffle all you want in the lane. Like getting out, you know what I mean? You're playing safe. That's all.
Now, when you say the shuffle, are you just talking about the dashing/dash, or are you talking about the actual ultimate?
Just the dashing. Let's not include the ultimate because we're just talking about laning phase.
Okay.
And then you're using it depending on your matchup, right? If you're going against Yasuo, you're not really Shurima shuffling to him. You know, you're using your ult kind of defensively.
Yeah.
So like like if you see a pro play where Azir is waiting on the sidelines to commit into that team shuffle, into that groundbreaking, like, oh, he streamer shuffled into their team and got a clean ace, like that rarely ever happens in a fucking solo queue game.
True.
And in order for that to happen, you need to have a perfect setup. You're not like you
And that doesn't happen. Like, I mean, in pro play, they'll have like the Gnar, the Trundle, like,
Right.
top jungle, your AD carry and support are like, right now it's like Sivir, Yumi, or Yumi Zeri. It's like you're getting the utility, and then you're actually able to commit to the engage. I understand that.
Even at the rare chance you get the perfect setup playing Azir, and you commit and do everything, that percentage goes down even more to expect that your team is going to respond like they're ready for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because it happens so fast. Like you can't tell Azir to stop midway and not do it, because if he does stop midway, he's dead. He's 100% dead. So it's the same thing like going in as Lissandra. You go in, you snare everybody, you stun everybody, you fucking ult yourself, then you Zanya's, but your team just sit back and does nothing. You lose that fight.
True, very true. All right, moving on to Camille. Her passive shield increase, E damage increase. So, I for some reason I think Riot just likes Camille. This is dumb. I don't think she should be buffed. She was broken for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. She was literally like the strongest top laner for 2 years. 2 years.
No idea why that's in here.
Yeah, I like she's not like even weak right now. She's probably like a B tier top laner. And if you not remove, but it's like the top tier would be like I don't know, like maybe like Darius Shen. Who else is really good topside right now? Oh, Udyr, of course. So it'd be like Darius Shen, Udyr, right? The three of them. But then like the next layer down, like, so if that's S tier, your A tier are all the fighter champions, the Rivens, the Irelias, the Fioras, the Camilles, like I call them the four horsemen, four horsemen of the top lane.
Yeah, that's unnecessary. Like, the fuck, percent HP shielded 20%. Yo, that's broken.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. It actually is. And I know a lot of people are. I know
the damage increase. It went from 75% bonus 80 to 90% bonus 80.
Bro, that's not even just it. She's literally getting bonus flat damage, like bonus base damage. So she's getting 20 bonus base damage on.
It's the same at level 4 though.
Yeah, from at level 5, which is fine because at level 5 she's already shrekking you right now. But then that extra 80, like, I'm assuming they want more damage in the game because at Worlds they want things to be exciting. So if she hook shots in and then she hits you with the Cho'Gath ult on her second part of her Q, like that's like the one shot. You know what I mean? It's like it's almost saying like if you commit to the E and you have the Cho'Gath ult ready, bow, you hit that uppercut and they're gonzo.
Bro,
and for those of you that
building like lethality,
yeah, no,
yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, like the joke, if you're in the League of Legends, you probably do get the joke. But the second part of her Q does like the same amount of true damage as a Cho'Gath ult on a, like, I don't know, 4-second cooldown or something. So it's kind of broken. All right, Ezreal, E cooldown decrease.
We should try this.
Lethality Camille. Yeah, bet. I'm down.
Fucking max.
I'm well. That would be. Yeah. It's actually insane. Ezreal E cooldown decrease. So they're giving Ezreal back some mobility on his E. 2 seconds. Is that 2 seconds at all ranks?
Yeah.
I think on this patch it'll probably make him, if not the strongest, like the second strongest. AD carry. I mean, he's already really broken right now. What do you mean? He's not going to do anything.
Well, I know, but it's not going to do anything. That buffing, the decreasing his E is not going to do anything.
When they nerfed his E, he took like a 2% hit. So buffing it, you'll probably see like a.
No, they nerfed something else with him too.
That
was like, it wasn't just.
Well, no, they nerfed a few things over like a few patches, and then when they did that was like the. Ding, that was like the nail in the coffin. But now that they're giving a bit back.
well, they're dumbing it a bit back. I don't think this is gonna make a huge difference
I think
at
it
all.
will. I think for good Ezreal players that know how to like not E shift in, that don't have like vein syndrome where they just like tumble forward or lease in where they take the Q or whatever. Like if you're not Eing in and you're Eing to the side or you're Eing away or you're only using E in when you're
You
not gonna
broke
get,
up.
oh sorry, that you're using E
You have to move your
adequately,
mouse.
huh? Oh yeah. Sorry. I forgot. So you're using E adequately in a way that you're actually able to extend team fights instead of all inning and going like for a 1-for-1 and dying. Because Ezreal, I think Ezreal will do well in this meta or on this patch because the longer he can extend these fights and the more people start understanding the way the meta's kind of supposed to be. And again, in our MMR, it's not going to happen. Pro play, like Ezreal's going to run the game, only because um when you watch pro play right now, you're seeing at least 2 tanks and a bruiser or 3 tanks. You're seeing a Sejuani top, Trundle, Tom Kench. Uh, excuse me. I think when Udir's active, I don't know about pro play, but I know in our games, Udir, I ban him every game because unless you have a Kog'Maw or a Vayne, he's almost unkillable. It's insane, right?
Hmm.
So if Ezreal, if he's going Sunder and that slow build, it's gonna be like in the early part of the season, but just not as egregious,
I mean, I'm thinking more of it as a RUO, not professional play.
I mean, that's fair. And like I said, this this
Professional play,
this this patch is difficult because it's literally the patches affects all of us, but this
right?
patch is geared so heavily towards pro play that it's like understanding how it'll affect us, and then also like figuring out why the change was made, kind of thing. I
Yeah.
guess is what I'm trying to run down.
I mean, if you're just gonna solely put it on the vision of professional play, yeah, it makes a big difference because it does extend the fight, especially in this durability meta. The
Yeah,
more he can do that, you know what I mean, the longer he can fight,
yeah.
essentially.
Graves, grave. Q cooldown decrease, R base damage increase. Also, not quite understanding why they're buffing Graves. Like he's not that far off the mark. Like if Graves at his peak was season 6, 10 out of 10, clear all the camps and kill everybody, I would say right now he's probably at like a 7.5 out of 10. He can still clear all the camps. He doesn't kill everyone as efficiently. And I think end of the line, bringing the cooldown down is pretty cool. It's pretty okay. I mean, okay. For me, when I look at this and I'm a nerd for this, I think mid Graves is going to be stronger. Maybe not broken, but stronger. And increasing the base damage, but keeping the bonus AD ratio the same. I mean, it helps. I mean, I feel like this only helps in these situations where I don't know, you go to alt and somebody gives them like a shield because they're already low HP, and then normally they'd walk away with like 1 HP. And Graves doesn't normally have any kind of dot damage unless he has red buff, but it doesn't normally just have any dot damage. So I don't know. This is like a weird change. I think again, buffing Graves strange, but the way they buffed him probably not the worst thing in the world, in my opinion.
I'm with it. I'm with it only because, like you said, he's on that fine line between like okay to like meh, like a little bit below. Like this is a nice change where it's like a minute change that will make him become more balanced instead of OP or you know what I mean or not meta.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it's just that very very fine change that will make him like efficient. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I
All
like
right.
it. I like it. And
Yeah,
the
like I
fucking
said, I
20% fucking Camille.
20 base damage plus 20%. I think Camille's going to be a problem.
She's definitely
Um,
gonna be.
so they did a Hecarim rework
What the fuck?
because, yeah, so they did basically a Hecarim rework. He's still the same champion. He still does everything the same. It's just like they completely changed the way he like functions in a fight, basically. So they
You might have
brought,
to shake your.
huh?
You might have to shake your mouse again.
Okay. So, excuse me. They brought down his base damage, but they slightly buffed his AD ratio, which means they want you to build more AD. And then instead of 2 stacks, you have 3 stacks on your Q, and the cooldown
Okay.
per stack went down. So basically they want you to fight more on Hecarim instead of being like this one-shot tank that just
Yeah.
heal tanks through a fight. They
Mhm.
want you to like actually be in there brawling, slapping, using your Qs, doing damage. Now, I think the only problem with that is because of the direction that they went by lowering his HP growth and lowering his base armor, the survivability isn't there. So when you like run into the middle of a fight, okay, so I guess the juxtaposition would be like when you ran into a middle of a fight before, you were tanky and you were doing like high base damage stuff, which can be annoying because it's like the current Udyr situation that we have right now, where it's like you built full tank, but you're still able to like kill the 80 carry in like 4 or 5 hits. Like
Yeah.
you just war of a trick. They can't do damage fast enough to kill you when you can and you're just out damaging them, right? So I think with this change, I mean we can go through the rest. The Spirit of Dread, which is this W, he gains uh armor magic resist. That's where his tankiness is supposed to come from. Instead of just being like just having a super high health pool and devastating charge. This so I've the only game that I played today, I played it in a normals because I wanted to see how the changes were. I will say Hecarim feels better than he did in the last like 2 patches when they gave him the nerfs, but he feels worse than he did a couple patches before that, and I don't think he'll ever see the heights of like I don't know season 6 or season 7 when he was like actually strong and broken. You could build like Triforce, Yomu's. I think it was like Triforce, Yomu's, Deadman's was like the build, and it was
I
really
think
really
he just
strong.
needs a different build.
Yeah, I mean, there people are trying to figure out. Like today, I went Triforce. What did I build? I went Triforce. I can just look it up right now. I think I went Triforce Mirror Mana, Black Cleaver, and then I was going to build a Chem Tank Purifier. Or is that the one? Is that the 80 one? The Chem Tank Purifier? I
No, Chem Tank is the
Chainsword.
fucking mythic.
Chem Tank Chainsword. Chem
No,
Punk. Chem Punk
Chem Punk.
Chainsword.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chem Punk.
There's too much chem, and then they're gonna bring back the chem dragon next year. Come on now.
Hey, I like it.
But anyway, what was that? Oh, the only thing that I think is that it changes the way you play Hecarim fundamentally. And once a build is figured out, I do think it'll be pretty strong. I think it'll be strong in the sense of a snowballing factor. Like he won't be so much like, oh, I need to hard farm and carry through like a bunch of items and stuff. It'll be like, oh, I got like 2 kills and now I'm like an item ahead or half an item ahead, and I'm just like one shotting your AD or one shotting your mid laner kind of thing.
I feel like that's a normal way to play.
I mean, it was a while ago, but then he became like, oh, all I do is farm, 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 and then even when he would tackle like Ash again, it would take her like a long time ago. He could tackle Ash and she'd be dead either to the tackle or like the follow up Q or like the alt tackle Q gone, right? Then it became like tackle Ash and then just stay on top of her, like
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah. W damage, Q damage, and just kind of like making it inconvenient for the back line. I think we're getting closer to the way it was before, where it's gonna be like the movement speed. What I wish they had adjusted his passive to give him more damage the faster he goes. That'd be sick. I think that's something that they could have touched on, but they didn't. But we'll see how it plays out. Any input on what you think this Hecarim changes?
I don't really play Hecarim at all.
Yeah.
So no, I don't have any additional comments.
All good. All right, Cassidan. I think Cassidan might be the first champion I played. It's either him or Victor. I can never remember.
Mine
But
was Morgana.
really, oh wow. Hey, Purple
Like back when
Bros.
it looked like we were playing on Game Boys.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
the fucking yeah.
But Cassidan Q cooldown decrease and mana cost decrease. So they're just buffing Cassidan. Um I think Cassidan. It's so weird because I think Cassidan needs a buff, but then anytime you're ever in a game with a Cassidan that like either pops off or the game goes long enough for him to hit like Castle win status, feels bad if he's not on your team because like I feel like is the best representation of bad early game, broken late game.
Yes,
It's between like him. So it's what him, Vayne, Kale, and who else?
that's pretty much it.
No, there's one oh no, there's one more that's absolutely god awful laning phase. It'll come to me. But anyway, but I feel like okay, so out of those three, I do feel Cassidy has the worst, mainly because of the matchups. Because even if he plays into an AP character, AP champion, it still doesn't feel good. Most AP champions are ranged. He's just getting poked. He's getting annihilated. He can mitigate and I mean that's what this null fear is for. So that way it's up more often for you to mitigate more damage because it acts as it is a shield. You get a shield from a magic damage shield. So
I
it's
think
like
they shouldn't have uh, affected this. They should have made the shield maybe last a little bit longer, maybe like half a second per level. Like
so
make
increase the
the
duration of the shield.
yeah,
What about the amount?
keep it the same. Like keep everything the same, but increase the duration of the actual shield.
I
Because
think
essentially,
okay.
what you're doing, Q mostly in lane as Cassidan, your last hitting, you're almost never like poking them with it. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? You want them to be a little bit. You want them to last through the laning phase. Is
See,
essentially what Cassidan.
I use my Qs defensively because I know I'm like trying to survive. So
Right.
my Qs are always for Anivia's throwing her E at me. Let me Q a
Yep.
minion and eat that damage so I don't die.
Yeah,
So I
100%.
don't.
But sometimes like you're maxing Q 99% of the time.
Oh no,
So like
no! I put like if I put 3 points in Q, I max E. But there are like I said in. So okay, so in like an AP to AP match, like if I'm playing against Katarina, the Anivia that I mentioned earlier, Malzahar, somebody like that, then yeah, I'll max out Q. But generally, in most matchups, I do like 3 and then 5 in the E because E does more damage and it has more utility, especially
well, I
if you
max
do.
Q the entire time because I want to stretch out that laning phase. I don't want it to go in the team fight where I have to go to the side lane and have to do all this shit if I'm not there. My team is flaming me. I'd rather extend that laning phase and just try to last in that laning phase as long as possible, just
I
so I can
mean,
come out of that laning phase at level 11, level 12,
I
and
feel
just be
ya,
decent.
but I feel like in the meta that we're in, the laning phase ending is dictated more by the bot lane now. It's ever since they made the change to teleport, whenever bot lane tower, because it used so when you used to have the uh the 4 man, 5 man plus 4 man plus teleport ganks in the bot lane, and you can completely just open up the map. Like laning phase was dictated by the top laner, and
Yeah,
now that they've nerfed teleport, I think the laning phase is more dictated by bot lane. Because whenever bot lane drops that tower and they rotate, like that's when laning phase is done. Unless you're like just playing, technically or systematically wrong, where you're like, why is AD carrying my lane? Not that you do that, but like
right.
there are people like I've been in games where like I'll drop a tower, rotate, and then I'm getting spam ping. Like, why are you taking my farm? It's like you have an extended lane and you're like 2 levels higher than the bot lane. So you and the support can go down there, or you can go down there and probably go kill for kill or something. Like it's not that big.
That's
Like
it's like the overall sense of the game. I agree, but if we're just talking strictly, if everybody goes even and it lasts the 14 minutes, like Cassidy wants that entire 14
oh yeah,
minutes.
yeah, 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 for
You know
sure.
what I'm saying? So like increasing the duration, like yo, you if you're in a fight, if you're in these fights, like when I'm playing Cassidy, like let's say I go in for a trade, right? I'm queuing them. They're waiting for the shield to pop off. That's that time where I can play off of. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I queue them, I can decide whether to commit a little bit more or back off. It gives that Cassidy a little bit more room to like play safe or decide whether what he wants to do. Like if you like the cooldown decreased, okay, you're getting maybe one extra, per whatever 8 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever it is, you
Yeah,
get
yeah, yeah.
one extra one. It's not really gonna do much for you. But if you extend that duration, like there's times when I'm trading, where it's like my
The
shield
the
is still up.
shield,
They didn't do enough damage, but the
but
shield will,
drop
yeah,
off. Yeah, yeah, I know what you
right,
mean.
yeah.
But then wouldn't that be like facing like a Morgana E minus the spell mitigation part, but the damage mitigation part for like because Morgana E lasts for
Yeah. I'm not saying that long, but maybe like I said, like 0.5 longer.
but you said like
Just to
per
have
you
that
said
extra.
per level. So at like level 5 with 5 ranks in it, it'd be
No,
like
no, 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 no. No, I meant like just increase it from whatever it was by 0.5.
oh okay, so like
Statically, statically.
just a flat, yeah.
Yeah, just a
Okay.
flat all the way across. Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's
Like
go to
honestly, even at rank 5, you probably don't even need that extra 0.5 seconds.
all right, let's go to
But in
Maokai.
the laning, the
Maokai.
first like 3
Oh,
levels,
yeah.
yeah.
The
So
Maokai. Maokai also got a small rework. Um
I played Maokai maybe once in my entire life.
once really. I miss the old Maokai, but that's a conversation for
I
another
know what he
day.
does, but
Yeah, the old Maokai was actually broken. Like game breakingly broken. Um
getting hit by large jungle monsters now reduced stat
passive yeah, this is just a full rework. Basically, they are trying to make him a jungler and I love it. I'm here for it because I don't like him as a support, mainly because they've nerfed him out of support.
Yeah,
Uh,
I like him for prior nerfs. He
yeah,
was a pretty good support.
he was really really good support, and then they were just like, nope, can't have that. And then he hasn't been a top laner in I don't know.
I really don't like him as a top laner.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's been a real top laner since his rework. And by rework, I mean when they actually completely overhauled him, like straight up made this new Maokai from the old Maokai that we used to have.
Whoa. You now deals percent maximum health damage.
Yeah, I like that. I think they're looking to try to make him more of a jungler, a fighter. Well, not a fighter, but like a brawler tank. And I can see him going in the top lane, like because right now Sejuani's up there,
Yeah.
and he could be like good in the Ornn or something like that. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
Ornn besides the money scaling, the gold scaling for from the items, he just provides a ton of CC. What does he
Mhm.
need to do most of his CC? He needs to be able to move. Now outside of his W, which makes him uh not invulnerable, but it makes it so he can't be stopped. His
Mhm.
ultimate, you know, he has to do the little dash thingy. And if you have Maokai in the top lane, basically, or just Maokai on the map, stopping an Ornn or stopping a maybe not Scion, but doing what he got to do to be aggressive versus just kind of playing back and throwing saplings and being annoying. I like a
So his
fighter,
W is exactly the same.
huh?
His
Yeah, yeah,
W is
yeah,
exactly the same.
yeah. He's gonna be a really strong jungler. He is.
Mm.
I think he has been an okay jungler. It just his fall off is really really hard because it's like he can just level 2 walk up to you in W. He's blowing a
Yeah.
flash. There's he's blowing a flash straight up.
I mean, that's essentially fucking
Pantheon.
Pantheon.
Yeah, same thing as
Yeah.
Pantheon. But yeah,
He's just gonna be a better Pantheon, really.
yeah, that's you're not wrong. I agree with that.
Like his
Um
Q is just like his fucking spear. His ult is way better than Pantheon's. Maokai now gains 40% bonus move speed that decays over 2 seconds upon hitting enemy champions. That's
40
broken.
50 40 50 60. He's Usain Bolt. If he
That's
snags
fucking
you, if he snags you with it, he's just gonna be like, gotta go fast.
yeah. And then he runs like fucking phase rush on top of that. Yo, he's staying on top of you the entire time.
Oh, I figure he'll probably still go like grasp because
Mm.
he's still gonna be tanky and all that. Because they didn't change his base. So on Hecarim where they lowered his armor, his base armor, and his health growth. They didn't change any of that, so he's still gonna be like a super tank. But they just made him way more aggro, percent health damage. Um,
Yeah.
he being able to heal the stat magic. I think that's where he heals from the from hitting, from punching or whatever he does. It's like a weird punch. It's like a reverse punch. He like touches him and then he pulls his hand back. I love the animation. I'm not gonna front. But he's gonna be able to do that more often because it's gonna reduce from jungle monsters. And then, like I said, his R is just broken now. fast. It's faster. It accelerates faster. It starts off
I mean, I could see
faster.
him going like that mythic what's that called?
Tempt.
Evern Shroud?
Oh, Evan
Evern
Shroud.
Shroud
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
fucking Fimbulwinter? Yo, that's essentially that's your path. Your
And
building
the
path right
and the changes that they made to Evan Shroud, I think last patch or the patch before, I think it's a better mythic. It's the best tank mythic for if you're not playing like Aegis or
Yeah.
Frostfire. Like
Yeah.
it's better than
Well, you don't need
Locket.
Crossfire because you already have so much sticking power.
Yeah, I was saying it's better than Locket. It's better than Chem Tank. Is that did I say the right one this time?
Yeah. I am not a fan of Chem Tank. I don't like it at all.
I was, but then like it's also annoying.
Yeah.
Like I
Did you
was
see the Korean
for huh?
the Korean builds where they're doing what is it? What's the one that gives you the slow raise? The mythic the not the mythic the keystone.
Oh, Glacial.
Yeah, glacial. They were running glacial on Fiddlesticks with
Oh,
fucking Evan
oh,
Shroud.
Evan Shroud. Yeah, yeah.
It's not bad.
That's
It is not
that's
bad. You're like a
brutal.
supportive Fiddlesticks.
Yeah, that's brutal. But I mean, with all the changes that they buff Fiddlesticks as far as damage, I think you'd probably just want to ball out. Misfortune. Q based damage increase late, cast time adjusted, W mana cost decrease, attack speed bonus increase. What the? They really went in. E cooldown increase, base damage decrease, AP scaling increase, slow now
She's on
scales with AP. What?
it, man.
So basically, your build is meta now.
Yes.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
So when I say your build, in regards to Tim's hybrid misfortune, so he does this terrible. He heals like Leandries. It's Leandries, right?
Yes.
It's like Leandries into Muramana into like
Oh,
AD, right?
yes. Into Sherelle does.
Yeah, so it's like Leandries into Muramana into Sherelda's, and I hate to
Dude,
say,
like
hey, he plays it well. Anytime any other clown tries to play it on our team,
Mm.
trash, trash. But now it's meta.
Right.
So, because look, they're
Certain things.
incentivizing lethality builds too. I guess. I mean, with the increase in what 100% AD, or is it just the
Or-
base damage? Oh, base damage
I
is
mean,
late.
well, I'm looking at the AP scaling slow on their E.
On
It's
the E,
only
yeah.
for every 100 AP. That's not bad.
Yeah, because depending on how much AP you build, it'll outscale 60% in like two items. Like it with a death cap, you outscale the 60%. So I mean you're not rushing death cap on misfortune, but hey, now you
Why
might.
not?
Not
I
now you
mean,
might.
support MF
Yeah.
is even more toxic.
Realistically, this is for support MF. But like I said, your carry MF, AP, hybrid, AD,
It's all
penetration.
buffs. There's nothing wrong. Like if that was working before, this is gonna work even better
That's what I'm
now.
saying. Like I'm just angry because I hate it. And I don't know what to tell you. I just hate it. All right. Nami
That's,
E
that's a picker
electrocute.
ban, though. To be honest,
Huh?
that is a picker ban.
Oh, misfortune?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, Misfortune just got super. She was, and this is another one of those where it's like Misfortune is probably like the third best AD carry on 12-16, and now she's probably between her and Ezra. I think she might be like number one or number two.
Yeah.
Uh,
I agree.
uh the Tristana is also up
She's
there,
definitely
but
number two.
but Tristana is a counter to Misfortune, like old school counter. It's a little bit more different now, but when before Tristana's rework, you'd pick her because her W was like an instant jump. It didn't have like that weird animation where she kind of like does that weird
Wind up.
wiggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wind up.
Mhm.
She could just instantly jump out of Fortune's ultimate, and then alter out of her own ult, and it was broken. Well, not broken, but it was really, really. It was a bad day picking Fortune into Tristana. Same thing's possible. Like I do it to Fortunes now. I do it to Jins. Like champions that have to kind of sit still to do whatever they want to do. You can still abuse it, but it's just not as broken. But the Tristana buffs are really, really strong. I think right now, I think my top 380 carries are like Triss, Twitch, and probably still Sivir.
Okay.
Just because Sivir still brings so much utility. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Sivir is definitely.
What are you doing?
What? Me?
It's like scratching and loud.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I was moving shit around.
I'm like, what the?
I thought you were talking to your cat. I was like, yo, why are you yelling at me, bro?
No, the cat's fine. It's just loud.
My bad.
You're good. You're good. But yeah, I think those three are probably still. But you know, again, in pro play, they're just gonna be playing Zeri or not. Yeah, they're gonna be playing like Zeri Sivir. I don't know. Maybe somebody will bust out some stuff. What I really want to see is if these 80 carry supports make it to Worlds, because I saw in the LPL they were. I think there was one game that I caught, maybe two, where they played like Ashe support. You know, and I mean Senna's still like actually a good support if you have hands. The problem is most support players don't have hands. But like you get a player like Mickey, even though I don't know if he's going to Worlds, but like a Mickey X or a Carrier, and they're on Senna, it's scary. You know what I mean? Or Targamus from the LEC. That boy is a demon on Senna. So
To be honest, I don't really think Senna is up there. I'd rather have an Ashe or Misfortune support.
oh no, I'm not. I'm not. So I think Senna is now comfortably in the position of you have to be really good on her, and in solo queue even more so. Like even more so, you either have to be really good on her or you have to be duoed. In the sense of you have to be playing with like Senna Tomken, Senna Swain, Senna Seraphine. I don't.
The only thing I like about Senna is it opens up those combinations. That's the only thing I like about Senna.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't think she's really a great champion.
I think there's some tech that still just hasn't been figured out because ever since they nerfed her or changed her, like no one is building like a full lethality Senna. And
Yeah.
a full lethality Senna, I feel like would be actually the most support Senna that you could play, only because they changed.
Want to hear my tech? You want to hear my tech? My dark tech?
I'm down.
It has nothing to do with Senna though. Nala and Kale bot.
Nala Kale?
Nala Kale.
Okay.
You get the heals, you get the fucking shield, you get the bonus XP where you're just babysitting. Like it helps you to babysit, like to never leave her side but you still build carry. You still build carry, but you build all the fucking whatever else. But you just stay by her to babysit her with your ult, and then fucking get all the bonus.
So Kale gets a free scaling.
Yes.
Now here's the real question.
She gets a babysitter, and so does Nala get a babysitter.
So here's the real question.
And then you throw a zillion mid, yo, game over.
Oh, that's actually really strong. For scaling purposes. The real question is, are you maxing W on Kale or are you maxing Q on Kale first?
Maxing W.
You are, so you're doing it.
You get bonus from the healing.
Oh, because Nala gets the additional. Oh, wow. We should run that into norms after this.
Yes.
I'm down.
Because I want to see how much bonus, like, experience she gets. Is it more than... I believe they say it's more than a normal duo.
Yeah, no, it is. If you run it right, you hit level 2 on like the first wave. You hit level 3 either at the end of the second wave or like the first minion on like the third wave. So basically you're always a level ahead. And then if you ever kill them or set them behind in any way, shape, or form, it's actually like bot lane is done. Unless your jungler, the enemy jungler decides to camp, bot lane is actually just pack it up because you're, like in a normal lane, you'd fall like a level behind.
Right.
But now they're gaining more as you're falling in that same constant behind. So like they'll be up 2 levels and you'll be like, let's say they're level 7, you're like level 5. And then they hit 8 and you're still 5. And then when you finally hit 6, they're almost level 9. It starts becoming like it starts becoming so extreme that like something needs to happen. And a lot of times like the junglers, don't gank losing lanes and then they don't show up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But then like you think of like the ult combo just in itself, like you're in there and then Kale ults you, yo, easy.
True. All right, we got Nami with the removal of the electrocute. I mean, this was only really this is
This is directed for pro play.
I mean, the only time that I've been like manhandled by this is Lucian Nami, and they were definitely duoed. Like the Lucian Nami duo just ran over our bot lane.
Yeah. I mean, this for normal people, they should have left it in. But for pro play, I can see why.
Yeah, because it's really strong. It's just broken. Yeah. To cast E on somebody and now they do like an extra, I don't know, like 100 damage for no reason really. Yeah. Nocturne.
They should have left it in for solo duo.
Yeah. Nocturne. Base attack speed increase, passive cooldown decrease. So they're just buffing Nocturne. Okay. They're giving him more attack speed and they're dropping the pacify second. In the jungle, this helps a little bit. In the mid lane, it helps a little bit more since they fixed the bug where like the slashes weren't like doing the right amount of damage to certain targets and stuff like that. I don't know. I just think this is an okay change. Doesn't really this change is not really here or there. Just kind of Rel. Dismount movement speed increase, flat cooldown, or E cooldown now flat. So this is a buff early game and a nerf late game for Rel. But you can probably get down to that 11 seconds with CDR.
Like, why? She needs a buff. She's irrelevant right now in this game.
Yeah.
Completely.
I mean,
they need to just straight up buff her.
She needs a rework. Not either that or like such heavy-handed buffs that were like, oh my god, Rel is picker ban. She's the strongest in-game support in the game. Like right now, like why would you pick Rel over Blitzcrank, Nautilus, Alistair, who I would never want anyone to pick in this current meta, Braum. Same thing as Alistair. Don't pick Braum. Don't pick Alistair. Leona, definitely pick Leo. Like why would you pick Rel over any of the 3 that I'd suggest? Nautilus, Blitzcrank, or Leona. There really isn't. Unless there's like some special team comp or like the strongest Rel bot lane right now, I think it's still Samira. Second strongest would be like Kaisa, right? Outside of those 2, it's like, why would you pick Rel? She gets poked out. She doesn't get crazy tanky. The way her passive works is really like janky because you don't build attack speed on her, so she can never actually get her passive off on enough enemy champions for it to stack up to make her like unkillable. What they need to do is put her passive on her Q, so that way if she Qs like 3 people, like she Qs the entire front line, she becomes super tanky, and it's like
that seems kind of broken.
I mean, it would still fall off, but it would. Okay, I would rather it be kind of broken right now than what we're dealing with.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
It would make her different.
Yeah. Renekton. Oh, you want to still talk about Rel? Still want to diss her?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm done with her. She's pretty much irrelevant.
She trash. Renekton. Q base damage decrease, 80 scaling increase. So they just want a fighty boy Renekton. 100 lethality Renekton incoming. Straight up.
I mean, they are going the fucking whatchamacallit, the Prowler's Claw on him already.
Yeah, I think I was gonna say that's like the Renekton.
That's a buff, bro. That's a buff for Renekton mid.
Oh, huge buff for Renekton mid. Prowler's Claw, Renekton mid. easily. Wait, why did this pop up? I just gotta explore the uncharted realms. I think I'm not gonna dive in. I'm gonna hit the go away. That's really weird.
Yeah, mine
Um,
just.
oh, yours just hit up too. See, weird. Anyway, yeah, Renekton. I think Renekton mid is a good counter to like I don't know like what Silas definitely
Ever.
to the win bros.
Yes.
Uh, they buff
Counter
Cass.
to
They
Zed.
I'll say they buff Cassidan, so be gone. And Zed is I think second strongest mid laner on the patch. I don't know.
Renekton is good.
Yeah, yeah. But that's like a counter pick. If we're just talking standard picks, I would probably
Oh,
say right now is probably like Vex being the strongest mage and Zed being the strongest versus all.
No way, Vex. Nah.
Bro, lane against a Vex and see how
I have. I've beaten Vex.
lane against a Vex that's as good as you are, and you'll be like, oh, this is miserable. Don't lane against these trash Vex. Lane against a Vex that's as good as you are, and you'll be like, oh, this is absolutely god awful dog water. I can't go in. I want to
You
cry.
can though. You can. So the secret is you have
You
to like
wait for her to use her
anticipate-
abilities.
Yes. Like you have to
Yes.
get hit with the fear thing, and then you know what I mean. Get her to use the fear part of it, and then it's a free go in.
Well, if she's good, she'll fear you and chunk you. Like bad Vexes just fear you for no reason. Good Vexes fear you, chunk you, and then like her range is so far. Like even if you think about it, like both of you are standing in the mid lane, she hits you with a little circle fear, and then she hits you with a Q while you're still feared, and then she backs up. What are you gonna do? Like W under her tower? That's not gonna happen. Now level 6, you have a lot more outplay, but if she's smart, she's like, "Oh, Zed is ulting me now." W. Now you're feared under tower for like a second.
Yeah, but she's still not number one though. Like,
Oh, come
if
on.
I was gonna pick a number one, it would probably be Ari.
Again, I said Ari's the most balanced. Like she's not particularly OP in one direction. She like Vex can one shot you.
Not if you're going against a really good Ari, like you ain't killing her.
It's
And
annoying.
B, you can get poked out, so you might not die, but you're gonna have to get out of lane.
Oh, Vex I think Vex does everything that Ari does except for be mobile better than Ari. I think Vex pokes better than Ari because once you're like max CDR, not max CDR, but once you have enough CDR on her Q and enough points in her Q, it's on like a 3-second cooldown.
Yeah, but all her abilities are AOE, so you're pushing that way.
True, but
Like anytime you want to touch that,
but when anybody jumps on you, if you have her fear up, she's just gonna.
right. Well, I mean, tons of champions have that too. I mean, look at Annie. She has a big ass shield and then super fast.
I mean, we
movement
love Annie. Annie is the best champion in the game. That's what I actually meant to say. Annie number one, then Vex.
speed.
I'm being 100, yo. When they gave
I'm gonna
Annie
say
her,
Ari number one. Ari number one for sure.
I'll have to reconvene on that one.
She
All
has
right.
easy skill shots. You have multiple escapes.
Like I said, Ari is not bad. I'm not saying she's bad. I just think that like if you put Ari versus Vex, right, in a mid lane and both players of the same skill, in the way both of them are right now, I think Vex is going to win that matchup.
No,
With I think so.
you can dodge Vex's all 100%.
I mean,
range, so you're.
I mean,
you're
you
not getting
can.
tagged.
So the difference on like for the Vex setup, right, is like normally she's hitting you from way out of like screen range. Like it's basically like getting hit with like an Ash arrow. Like you either see it coming from on like a minion or like a ward, or you see it what's the word I'm looking for, or you don't see it and it smacks you right in the face, right? But the difference is she can like follow up, do her E, fear you, hit you with the Q, and now you're probably dead. If you're not like, if you don't have over like 2k HP. But we got kind of derailed or sidetracked on this one. Let's go down to set. Because I don't even know if Vex is on this patch.
No.
Set. WAD ratio increase, E slow decreased. Set hasn't been, I don't want to read that. So they made his W stronger 25%, and they increased. So they're just buffing him because he's not in the Four Horsemen. Gotcha. I guess it'd be the Four Horsewomen, but is that patronizing? I don't know. I don't. I'm keeping it a bug. I don't know. But like Set with his W, like he needs it a little bit, but does that change does that adjust like for that middle true damage?
Yeah, it should.
So you think it's gonna be like if it affects the true damage portion in the center, this is actually huge because even that 5% is just gonna like most 80 carries can't survive. Like if Set hits like I like using Ashe just because she's immobile, but if Set hits Ashe with the W, it's gone. So it's game over. It's finito. But now with that extra 5%,
If you're a good Ashe and you're close enough where Set is doubling you in the true damage war, you are not a good Ashe.
I mean, true because Ashe
You
has
will kite
this,
the shit
yeah,
out
it
of him.
has the slow potential and everything. But realistically, Set what's what I'm looking for? Set when he hits the W, or when he's chasing people down, he does get movement speed with his Q moving towards him, and then he can like pull him closer. Because normally the way it works is like he pulls you, and then he hits you with the W while you're like stunned or whatever
Yeah.
with face breaker. Sivir 80 growth decrease, W bounce 80 ratio decrease. Oh, so they're just like nerfing Sivir. I wonder how if this will affect her wave clear.
Yeah, it will.
Or like how I guess the question is more how much will this affect your wave clear, because the AD growth isn't like dramatic, but the bounce ratio is 5% at each rank.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
So I'm assuming where she could clear a wave, I'm assuming like if she could like clear an entire wave at like level 6 with a WQ, it'll probably be 7 or 8 with the same like items or something. Definitely it pushes it off, and it pushes it off at least a level, an item, you know what I mean?
I think definitely one item.
Yeah.
But
So like
that's the whole point. Like with Sivir though, like why would you? I don't like it. Don't like it one bit.
because she is the wave clear champion. I think it's
Right.
more to scale back, because okay, so like once you're not using the W for wave clear anymore, it just becomes an auto attack reset, and you're basically like spamming it on the outskirts of team fights.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. You're like, and I
But
think what they're
that makes no difference on the bounce.
well, if you're spamming on the outskirts of fights and you're hitting, let's say you're hitting the Ornn that's like just eat in on you. But then the bounces are ricocheting to like the Vayne or the I don't know, the Tristana or something, and they're getting chunked just because they're like your team is
That's her whole identity.
I
No other champion has a bounce.
true. But what I'm saying is I think what they're going for is like she shouldn't be half healthing targets that are like a half a screen away that she's not even directly hitting. I think that's what this
I mean, if you're really gonna target that, then you should target the radius, not the radius, the area of effect where it can bounce.
yeah, but you could mess up like doing that could mess up the way it interacts when like waves are coming in, or like if you
That's fine. I
if
mean,
you
that's better
no,
than
but then nerfing the damage. I don't know how I feel about
because
this change either.
the wave isn't gonna really change. You can't change the wave.
No, what I'm saying is like sometimes sometimes you'll get that one melee minion that walks way out of line, and then you'll have the other three. So if you hit the W, like in the old Silver W, you'd hit it and it would just like do nothing. The new one I will say is way more lenient. Like you can hit that random minion and then it'll randomly just like keep on going to the other
so
ones.
you'll just revert back to the normal Sivir. That's fine. But I mean, you're taking the damage away. I feel like don't take damage away from ADCs in a durability patch. Like you can make other alterations.
True.
Because you're essentially you just took down
But
the AD growth and that percentage.
But do you think that this is also because Sivir has been so dominant since her rework? Like this is almost like a you've been too good for too long. Let's rein you back in.
Yes, I agree. They need to do something, but this is not it. They could have
Gotcha.
done something else.
I
They
think
could have done.
her I think Sivir lost her identity in the rework. So she like Ash, like Varus, were all Jin even to an extent, were all considered utility AD carries. You weren't picking Sivir because she was like out here killing and crushing team
Right.
fights at all. You were picking her because of her ultimate.
Right.
She could get people into fights and she could get people out of fights. When they did the rework, or then before the rework, she became too much of a carry because she was doing that Duskblade build. It was Duskblade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it
I mean,
was like
with
Duskblade
yeah,
and Death's not Death's Dance. Duskblade and what's the keystone?
uh, Dark Harvest.
Dark Harvest, right? So it was Duskblade, Dark Harvest, and she was like one-shotting people near the end of it, right? And they were like, no, we don't want somebody who can hyper engage your team and one-shot anybody who has less than like 2k HP.
Yes.
So when they reworked her, they were like, okay, she can still like, she's gonna be more of an 80 carry. She's gonna scale crit. She's gonna do all the hits and all the other stuff. But then what happened? She became too. She was too good. The rework was really good, and the numbers were a little bit overtuned. And now I think that's why they're scaling it back, especially going in the worlds.
Yeah.
Like the last 3 patches of pro play has literally just been Sivir Zeri. That's it. Like, oh, and Draven is like permaban. I
mean,
wish
I
I
wish
wish I played Draven.
I wish her passive was a little bit like how you said Hecarim passive was. The faster she is, the more AD she gets.
Oh yeah, that'd be so sick.
That
That'd
would be sweet on her.
That'd be so sick. All right.
Like I feel like that would be better on her than Hecarim.
Yes, because it makes sense a little bit more thematically. Like
That's what I'm
I
saying.
get the devastating charge is like, oh, I ramp up in speed, but that's literally the only thing that makes you go, oh, Hecarim is fast. It's his E, and now it's not even that fast. Like Udyr can like outrun Hecarim. Quinn outruns Hecarim. Like Ramus outruns Hecarim. Like it's not like
If they change that and then kept it with this, with whatever this is, and then additional like passive is you get an increase in AD for however fast you're moving or how many steps from blah 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 blah. That would be sick.
would you still keep the when you attack a enemy champion, you get a brief movement speed?
Yeah, that's the whole part of the kit. The kit
So
has
it
a
would
synergy.
so it would feed into itself a little bit where it's like she hits somebody
Yeah.
and then she gets like so early on it'd be like she gets like 2 AD, but then like late game it'd be like an extra like 10 or 15.
I'd be like 180 in the beginning. It would be like 1. 2 is a lot, bro.
No, not like level 1. I'm saying like the early levels, like levels
Uh-huh.
1, 2, 3, maybe even up to like 4. It's like 1 or 2 AD. But then like late game where you're like you got boots and you have zeal, so you're moving real fast, and you turn on
Yeah.
your alt. Now you when
Now
you
you're
hit
really hitting.
yeah, it's like now you're talking like 10, 15 AD extra just for
Or
running.
you know when you turn on your ult, the more people you hit your ult with, the
Oh,
more AD you
bro, why are we reworking Sivir better than she'll ever be?
get.
That would make her so
Like,
much fun.
Minions would be like 0.5 AD. Teammates would be like 3 AD or some shit.
Oh,
Yo,
that'd
that'd
be
be hella fun.
no, that'd be amazing. That'd be really, really good. All right, Silas. All right, wow. Let's look at base health decrease, Q cooldown increase. So Silas is this is basically what I'll call the night tax. Because I don't know if there's a better Silas player on this planet than Knight. He's the mid laner for top esports. And you put this boy on Silas, and it is literally a free win. Free win. I think he's like 11-0 on Silas in pro play for like this. It's like when Faker was undefeated on LeBlanc. Like they just don't give this boy the champion. And this isn't enough of a nerf to what's what I'm looking for, to offset how good he is on the champion. But in regular play where I don't know, I see a Silas like once every 10 games or something.
Yeah.
So
This is enough for people to stop playing him for sure.
yeah, because he's not, I guess it what'll, because he's like so safe with his E, you max E, right? So it's just like with having almost 600 HP, he can go down to like 250, in that range, and then E back up to, or W back up to like 500 almost what it feels like, because I think it's based off of missing health.
Yeah, it's based off missing health.
Taric. Base magic resist, decrease, E cooldown, increase. Oh, they're just nerfing him because he's too good. Taric.
Unnecessary. I think he's balanced. I think he's perfectly balanced.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's fine. I think the reason why he's getting these nerfs is because if you play him in the jungle in certain matchups where in your mind, because I think this is one of those, like, the way you think about a character or the way you think about a thing doesn't match what they're doing. So most people, when they think about Taric, they're thinking, oh, this Taric is, or when they think about Taric, they're just going, oh yeah, Taric is a support. He heals, whatever. He's a support. But then when you see Taric jungle run into like Vi, and Taric just beats the mess out of Vi, you're like, whoa, wait, hold on. Vi is this like gritty, big fist brawler, beat you up, slam you down, you out. How is she getting beat up by the Dazzle Man?
Yeah.
And it just doesn't align with like what people think. And he just does it though. He runs it. He's just like smack, smack, punch, smack, smack, punch, smack, smack, stun, smack, smack.
The magic resist went from 32 to 28.
It's huge.
Crazy.
It's huge. And I think the thing that sucks about that is he in lane, like if he's being played as a support, like this is actually just a huge support Taric nerf, but I still think he's good in the jungle.
Yeah.
Like
I think he's fine in the jungle. Like
in the bot lane, it's almost, I don't know if they're like low-key trying to push him into the jungle, but it's like in the bot lane, he's gonna be going up against Lulus, Yumis, Jannas, Sonas, Seraphines, Swains, Brands. Like, why are you removing his magic resist?
Yeah.
Unless you only want him to be like a counter to like Pantheon.
No,
and I know
it says on the quote, it says making him more susceptible to poke in losing matchups.
Okay. I mean, yeah. But no, what I'm saying is,
want him to feel the pain.
yeah, and like I said, they want him to only be like, oh, you locked in. I know Alistair, Blitz, and Nautilus all do magic damage, but they don't like poke with magic damage. It's all in. So he's more of a counter to all in supports.
Oh,
He's like
my go-to versus Nautilus.
Yeah, he's such a good counter into all in supports, because the second they all in you or they grab you or they do whatever, you just E, and that's like, thank you for playing the game. Trundle, W cooldown increased at all ranks. So they're just, oh, that's a huge increase. That's not cool. I don't think it changes anything because he still just hits you with the slappy slap. But that's a pretty harsh nerf. 3 seconds at rank 5. That's
I've never played Trundle, so I have no idea.
So generally you max the second, and you get the movement speed while you're on it. You get additional healing, because Trundle gets like healing when things die around him, or no, yeah, or is that Cho'Gath? No, yeah, Trundle gets healing when things die around him. Cho'Gath gets healing when he kills things. So, and if the frozen domain is up and they die on the frozen domain, it's like doubled. So basically, this is to stop with enough CDR. It's basically just stops his frozen domain from being up, like permanently up. Twisted Fatu. AP ratio increase, W mana cost decrease. They're just buffing Twisted Fate because it's Worlds.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean he's been MIA.
Yeah.
Pick a card didn't need to cost as much as it was costing anyway, so I'm down with this. That's crazy. It's lower than its rank 4 cost. It will cost as much as it used to cost for rank 3 when it's rank 5. That's broken. He's gonna be spamming a lot less blue cards, and this is gonna allow him to play more aggressively. I like it.
Yeah.
Wukong base attack speed decrease, base movement speed decrease. More nerfs for the 200-year champion, which a lot of people screw up because they often think that Aphelios is Mr. 200 years because riot casters and all the other dumb stuff. When in fact, the tweet of 200 years was actually made about the Wukong change when they were like, we're gonna give Wukong 2 knockups, and everybody was like, don't do that. Don't do that. Why would you want to do something like that? And then they're like, we have over 200 years of collective. No. And then immediately after creating the abomination that was the Wukong remake or rework, they were like, Aphelios, 200 years. I mean, these are just more nerves. Like, he's still gonna be broken. If they want to, I hate to say it, if they want to truly make Wukong not a dog champion, you just got to take away the second knockup, and then you can do whatever you want to. You can buff up his numbers, you can change his attack, you can give him free armor penetration. Doesn't matter. But as long as he has 2 knockups, you can't do anything because he has 2 knockups. And he can turn invisible. Like, come on now. Come on.
Yeah. That invisible shit is
wildin'. Like, Wukong is actually Mr. 200 years. Like, that whole kid is insane when you think about it. He has invisibility. He has a dash that he can do from invisibility. He has 2 knockups.
No bueno.
All right, items. Stopwatch.
It's all the stopwatch. It's no big deal.
So they're adding...
They're just increasing how much
100 gold, so you just gotta like sit around like an extra wave, and if you're farming well, it's like a wave and a half, right?
They're doing that for all the stopwatch things. So Guardian Angel, Zanya's.
Okay. Yeah, that's not too bad. Seeker's Arm Guard gets 30 ability power. Probably still. I mean, if they given it more armor. But I think that's actually what they nerfed earlier. They nerfed the armor on Seekers.
Oh, I thought that was armor. It's ability power. Never mind.
Yeah, it's not as huge. Yeah.
I thought it was a 30 armor.
If it was more armor, it would be busted.
Yeah,
but then that'd be a revert, because I'm pretty sure that's exactly what they changed. Zanya. So yeah, pretty much... What did they do to GA? Oh, it gets 5 extra AD. I mean, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't see a ton. Like, in pro play, yeah, you do see a few more GAs, but like Guardian Angel, it just feels bad, even with durability, because you die. Huh?
This is Zanya's. They're targeting the Zanya's.
Yeah, I was gonna say you die and then you
sell it.
Well, no, I'm just saying you stand still and then everybody just jumps on you again. Like, if Zanya's gave you more health, it'd probably be broken, or at least it'd be like it. Okay, so it's one of those things that's weird, right? If Zanya's gave you more health, like Uber tanks would pick it. Like, if it gave you like a percentage of your health, what does it give you? What does Zanya's do?
Zanya's?
Not Zanya's. GA. What does GA do? Bro, I don't know when the last time I built GA was, so I'm just gonna see if I can. So I have to go over here. Well, I'll look up GA afterwards, but the rest are just looks like ARAM balance adjustments. Okay, ultimate spellbook. Okay, behavior system. Over the last 8 months since we released our new feeding detection model, they have a feeding detection model. Oh, they don't work. What? Nah. Confidence, significant adjustments to detect intentional feeding. Punish over 2 times. Okay. I'll believe it. I'll believe it when I can look at somebody's match history and see that they haven't just been running it down. And you know what I mean?
Yep.
Honor restriction. Nobody cares about honor. Like, it's cool. Like, there are a few people. I used to care about honor, but since I got the Warwick and the Twitch skin, I don't care anymore. I have them, so they keep on just coming out with stupid chromas for them, and they're not good. It's like the recall thing is kind of cool, but again, it's not like competitive. Summoner's Rift, rank Q, matchmaking will now focus more on players and more and less on their visible rank. Okay. So basically it's gonna be one of those things where it's like, I mean, this doesn't really change much. Because if your MMR was already like really high, you could be like a silver player with like a platinum MMR if you just tanked your or dodged your what are they called? Your promotional games, because when you dodge a promo game it counts as a loss or whatever, right? So there are people and players that used to do that all the time because it's really, really funny to be like, I'm a bronze player in a diamond game. Look at me. So this doesn't really change much. It's because the MMR will always reflect, where you're actually supposed to be. So when you're getting matched up against other like way higher level people, but you're lower, it feels bad because you're like, how am I supposed to climb? Like if like when I'm in silver or something, and I see like 4 gold players and 1 silver player on the enemy team, I'm just like, okay, so I'm being like gate capped because if I lose this match, like I'm still in silver, but if I win it, I'm still in silver. Like, come on, to help me out here. But if I see silver players across the other side of the on the other side, it's like, okay, we're all in silver or something, you know what I mean? Or if we're all in gold, it's like, okay, I see all gold players, so this makes more sense. Versus like, oh, I'm playing against these people that are way better than me, even though mathematically or statistically they may not be. It just doesn't feel good. So this is probably just like an ego. I'll say this is an ego change. Noxus Cup Clash. We gotta play Clash. I think the only Clash that I've won, I've only won one this season. Challenges. Global defense system has been added. Having control over an enemy jungle for 65% of the game. So that's either like a jungle one. I mean, anyone can get it, but jeez. Bug fixes and tooltips. Quality of life. Huh?
I didn't even go any further. It's the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really affect solo queue.
Well, sometimes they do. Sometimes they'll like. There have been times where they will actually, what's the word? Like put a change in the bug fix that's actually like a huge buff. Fix a buff that calls Draven to our execute passive to still execute enemies through spell shields. So something like that. Like that's a nerf to Draven. You feel me? So like now he won't be one. So if Draven's the strongest AD carry on the patch, and he was one shotting or he was executing like Sivir when she was spell shielding his R, and that doesn't happen anymore, that's a nerf. You know what I mean? Or Morgana or whatever, or Nocturne. That's pretty detrimental to Draven because the only other person that he'd be laning against actively would be Sivir. So that's like a direct nerf in that matchup. Bug, spawn, interrupt, Poppy's not back. Or an item upgrade will be lost if teammate was upgrading, died during the channel. That's another huge one where, because that's free money for Ornn. Bug fix that calls Sejuani E to proc tier of the goddess stacks when melee champion walk near her. That's broken. I don't know why more people weren't doing that. I would have just been building Fimbulwinter every game on Sejuani.
Mm-hmm.
And then just have your jungler perma walk by you. That's broken, but now it's removed. E range indicator not show his visual effects update. That's nothing. JQ animation leads like that's nothing. Pike R goes on cooldown. If the enemy was killed by another ally, that's huge. Because that'd mess up his resets. So that's huge. Like I said, sometimes they hide like actual buffs and nerfs in these fixes. Not all of these. Treasure Hunter, Draven, blah, that one's not too big. Probably no. Zombie Scion count as additional kill or assist for certain challenges. No. Hex Flash. Disabled opponent's Hex Flash? What? For the remainder of the game? Okay. So if Set, so there was a bug where Set's ultimate would disable the opponent's Hex Flash and Flash for the remainder of the game.
Hmm?
Well, at least they fixed that. That's insane. But also, not seeing a lot of sets, so it probably wasn't as rampant. Like that's the thing about some of these. Like some of these are on champions that just aren't as egregious. All right, Viego. We got King Viego, so that's like human Viego. Zenith game, Blitzcrank, Zenith or Zenith game, Jace and Zenith game, Lee Sin. Blitzcrank looks pretty cool, but he already has a soccer skin. I don't know what these Zenith games are. Cause like I'm like these are kind of like the soccer skins that they already have. But anyway, well that'll about wrap it up. If you did enjoy this breakdown, let us know. It's been your boy King. Like I said, hanging out with Tim. Please leave a follow, like, all the good stuff to help with the algorithm. We appreciate you guys and leave your ideas down in the comments how you feel about the patch and the current state of the meta. We appreciate you, respect you, and we are outie 5,000.